All right, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. You know, being an older guy in the industry and having seen pretty much all of it come and go, I thought it'd be cool to talk about the history of pre-workouts. Not only because everybody loves pre-workouts, but because BPI Sports was built in the pre-workout game when our legendary 1MR formula hit the scene back in 2010. But to just start there doesn't really do it the full story. And I have this one chip on my shoulder about supplements and fitness in general. You know, if you're a fan of the NFL or a fan of baseball, you know who won the Super Bowl in one year. You know who won the World Series in one year. But in fitness and in supplements, people don't remember what was the best thing 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. But having lived through it all and watched the marketing and tried all the products, it's so personal to me that I get sad sometimes that kids nowadays might not remember their original 1MR formula, or people nowadays might not even realize when Metrics came out with a meal replacement shake and it blew the world apart. So let's start there. Let's start with that. Although I do want to say one special thing, and it's the year 1982. I'm going to circle back to that. But from where I sit, I graduated college in 1994, and I was really into working out. That happened to be right about the time that the protein market got commercialized. Because before that, you had a bunch of weird products that tasted like ass in weird containers, and nutrition products were just for weirdos. Then all of a sudden, and I'm going to say the names, Metrics and Designer Protein came out with protein shakes that were delicious, and the whole world began to change like that. Right on the heels of that, though, the brand EAS came out with creatine, along with other products, but creatine, in my opinion, was the first nutritional product people took that really worked and worked fast. And I always tell everybody, the week creatine came out, everybody's bench went up 10 pounds in my gym. And that's true, I witnessed it. So in this early 90s era, you have basically the galvanization of the supplement market. Before that, it was snake oils and things built on a myth. All of a sudden, you had things that worked, and times started changing. Now you start getting to the late 90s. This is the era of creatine and of meal replacement shakes. And boy, did I eat a lot of Metrics and a lot of Myoplex back in the day. And I was always more of a Myoplex guy, although I like the Metrics brand a little bit better, but those shakes were delicious. You can still get Myoplex shakes, they're awesome. As we move forward in time, and we're right about to get to where pre-workouts come in, you hit the Y2K, that's the year 2000 for kids that went around for it. And I don't know if anybody remembers, but we all thought the world was going to explode at Y2K. It didn't explode. But you did have an ingredient named ephedra in the market, which was a really interesting stimulant. Gave you great energy. It also mixed well with caffeine, and people would also use aspirin in it. So you had something called an ECA stack, ephedra, aspirin, caffeine, ECA, caffeine, aspirin, sorry. And that stuff gave you long-lasting energy. But ephedra fell out of popularity for various reasons. And the pro hormones were going on. This was the wild time. But then this happened. 2005. The commercialization of the amino acid arginine. Now it sounds a little boring now, but in 2005, a brand that I'm not going to name went into a partnership with GNC, of all places, GNC. And they came out with a product called NO2, which gave you a perpetual pump. You would be so pumped forever that it would never end. Maybe it wasn't really that effective, but the marketing told you it was. And here's a funny flashback in time. The marketing was, if you bought this bottle of arginine capsules, which probably cost them next to nothing to make, and retailed for $70, you got a free book. And you would read this book, and you thought that you just read the secret directions to how to build muscle. This was such a crazy era. And all of a sudden, everybody thought that this arginine was going to make their blood vessels dilate, and they'd look more pumped. And to some extent, it was true. It wasn't the end-all and be-all of a pump, but it started something. So 2005, commercialization of arginine, the pre-workout market is really born. But it's taken to the next level in a couple years, because a couple brands said, if people are supposed to take this stuff before they go to the gym, what would happen if we put something like caffeine in it that really gave them this energy? And all of a sudden you were seeing brands like BSN with Theno Explode or Gaspari with Super Pump, and these products took over the market. There was a 4-year period, where half of every vitamin shop store was One of these pre-workouts on the wall and the other one on the other wall. It was really an intense period. And then right on the heels of that, a couple brands said, well, we had pump. Now these people are really going for energy. What if we make it crazy energy? And this is where a brand named BPI Sports really came into the scene. And at the time, we're talking around 2009, 2010, there was a product called Jack 3D, and then there was a product called 1MR. And these two pre-workouts changed the entire dynamic of the workout market. It was an ultra concentrate, so instead of this like half a coffee scoop, it was a tiny little scoop, and it gave you energy like you never would believe. I remember, and this is a true story, the first time I tried the original formula, the OG one more rep formula, I took it at like 10 in the morning. I went to the gym and worked out. I went to Diamond Gym in New Jersey because we had an NPC New Jersey meeting afterwards. So I worked out, went to the meeting, got home. Now it's like at 10 o'clock at night and I'm laying in bed wide awake and I'm thinking, why would anybody ever want to take this product? Because it is too crazy. And that's true. However, I still took scoop after scoop for a long time. So you're in the 2010s, the ultra concentrates and mega energy products were really like just ruling the world. Then ingredient changes and formulation complications, the backbone of these kind of fell out of popularity, and you entered this softer period, which I would call the C4 era. This is like the late 2000 teens, so you're 2015, 2016, and it was like this. Perfectly fine product that worked pretty good, and no one really wanted to mess with it. The other guys were still there, but it was kind of like, you were wondering, is the pre-workout market starting to cool down? Then, of course, we had the global effect of COVID-19 not soon after that, combined with the fact that people started making really good energy drinks. And I actually have seen from where I sit some of the pre-workout consumers who are buying bottles of powder converting to people buying cans of drinks. And some of the drinks and brands co-brand the drink and the product, so that's a good move. But then you had COVID-19. And nobody went to a GNC, nobody went to a vitamin shop, nobody went to a gym. We just sat at home on our computers. And that's what really entered us into this new era of like influencer marketing and new brands popping up. And a lot of the brands that are doing great now, beautiful brands, very well incubated, they're based off an influencer or some key person telling you this is what they take. And they're good products. But here we are now, 2024 already. I can't believe it. This journey started in 1994. So this is, what's that add up to, Jonah? Can you do the math?
30 years.
30 years. 30 years. One quick note I want to make. In 1982, all the way back here, some crazy guy named Dan Duchesne, who was like this underground science bodybuilding guy, came out with a product called Ultimate Orange. And you were supposed to take that before you work out. And it had all kinds of crazy stuff in it. It evolved over the years, and ultimately in this ephedra era, this is where Ultimate Orange really did its thing. But that's a cool product, and it's interesting to note that even now it can be traced back to 1982. Kind of never got the legs under it that pre-workouts have now, but it's an interesting footnote as to how this all started. In my opinion, when I look at the pre-workout market, what I find to be the most powerful thing is this era here. The era of the ultra concentrates. There's a couple reasons. I'm going to run through them now. Number one, this changed the game. This redefined the pre-workout space. Number two, these products were so unignorably effective that when you took them, you knew you were taking something special. And I kid you not, when I was in my late 30s, I was training for the NPC Team Universe that I eventually won in 2010, or won my weight class at least. These were the products that helped me train for it. Like literally every morning, a scoop of 1MR, 5:30 in the morning, at the gym by 6, work out till 7:30, like clockwork. And I also got super lean because of the effects it has on your metabolism. So when I look at all this that's happened, from pure arginine capsules and a stupid book, all the way down to influencers telling you what they think you want to hear, what do I think worked best? This era here of unrelenting energy. And I don't mind teasing it now, then this live's going to end. That OG 1MR vibe is going to be back real soon. I'm going to leave it at that. Jonah, Sandra, Dennis, everybody that logged in, I appreciate it. And if you ever have any questions or interest in old products or how products became what they are, shoot me a DM. You know, I've been in the game forever, both working and as a consumer, and I love the space. I appreciate everyone listening, and look forward to some real throwback action from BPI in the weeks to come. All right, didn't stutter. Looked at the camera most of the time.
No, you did good. You honestly did amazing.
You're the best, man.
How many?
Honestly.
500 views.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
That's more than the Instagram. The Instagram got up to like 30 people.
yeah. My Instagram.
They fell off when you started getting to like 20,000.
Yeah.
So there you had 500 views.
Well, I also think people get on